So moved.
Mr.
Second.
Lyons moved. Ms. Franklin, second. May I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mr. Chewbacca.
Yes.
Ms. Franklin.
Yes.
Ms. Froggett.
Yes.
Ms. Graham.
Yes.
Mr. Lyons.
Yes.
Ms. Karan.
Yes. I need a motion to certify closed session that, to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which the certification applies, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, and considered.
So moved.
Mr.
Second.
Lyons, Ms. Chewbacca, roll call, please.
Ms. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mr. Chewbacca.
Yes.
Ms. Franklin.
Yes.
Ms. Froggett.
Yes, I need to state that I did recuse myself from one matter in closed session.
Okay. Ms. Graham.
Yes.
Mr. Lyons.
Yes.
Ms. Karan.
Yes. We have two action items from closed session. May I have our first motion?
A motion that we long-term suspend student A for 364 days.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mr. Chewbacca.
Yes.
Ms. Franklin.
No.
Ms. Froggett.
Yes.
Ms. Graham.
Yes.
Mr. Lyons.
No.
Ms. Karan.
Yes. Thank you. May I have our second motion?
I make a motion that student B be expelled for 365 days.
Second.
May I have a
Okay.
roll call,
All right.
please?
Ms. Vaughn.
Yes.
Mr. Chewbacca.
Yes.
Ms. Franklin.
Yes.
Ms. Froggett.
I recuse myself.
Ms. Graham.
Yes.
Mr. Lyons.
Yes.
And Ms. Karan.
Yes. Our next item is awards and recognitions. Dr. Meyer.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Karan. At this time, Dr. Graham, if you'll come to the podium to assist with our honors, awards, and recognitions.
This is the very exciting time of the board meeting when we get to honor our students and recognize them for specific accomplishments. The first honors tonight will be the Seniors of the Month, and Jennifer Weaver, Director of Secondary Education, will come forward and introduce our Senior of the Month program.
Good evening. Tonight we have, as you can see, a large group of seniors. We have some from January, February, and March from all four schools. This evening, Mr. Pauly's here from Auburn High School, Mr. Kitts from Blacksburg High School, Ms. Atkinson from Christiansburg High School, and Mr. Knott from Eastern Montgomery. At this time, Mr. Pauly will come up to introduce you to the Auburn High School Seniors of the Month.
Thank you, Ms. Weaver, and Dr. Graham, Ms. Karan, members of the board, Dr. Meyer. It's my pleasure to present first the January Senior of the Month from Auburn High School, Lucas Bradley Kenley. And he is here this evening with his mother and father, Robert and Sherry Kenley, and I ask at this time if they would make their way to the podium. I know that you have Lucas's profile in front of you, but I want to tell you a few things about Lucas that come from all of his teachers. Lucas is a very intelligent, kind, and gentle-natured young man with a great sense of humor. He is an exceptionally insightful student and a conscientious worker. He seems very aware of his strengths and weaknesses, but very willing to challenge himself to push those limits to better himself and his work. He is always prepared for class, asks great questions, and in his own quiet way adds so much to class discussions. He demonstrates a level of maturity and intrinsic drive that is still going strong even as a senior. Lucas has academic and athletic ability that places him among the top students of his class, but it is his maturity and character that makes him stand out among his peers. He can often be found passing up the chance to sit at a table with his friends to sit with a quiet freshman who would otherwise be sitting at a table alone. His sensitivity and kindness, coupled with his effort and determination, makes Lucas a truly unique student. Ladies and gentlemen, I offer to you Lucas Kenley. We're going to take a picture over there. What did I just do? Oh, I thought I did that. Oh, gotcha. Next, it's my privilege to introduce to you the Auburn High School February Senior of the Month, Abby Lester. She is here this evening with her mother and father, Mark and Misty Lester, and her sister, who is also an Auburn High School graduate. And I invite all three of them to come up to the front this evening. Once again, I know you have Abby's profile in front of you, but I'll read to you a few words that are combined comments from all of her teachers. Abby is an outstanding student in every way. Always attentive, engaged, and thoughtful, she is a joy to have in class. She has a natural curiosity for learning, and she often practices new skills as she learns them in order to make them a regular part of her continued education. We have all come to expect the highest quality work from Abby, whether it be homework, tests, research papers, or presentations. Whenever faced with a challenge, Abby calmly and quietly perseveres until she understands and then shares what she has learned to help others be successful. Abby is also a person of integrity. This trait is seen in her dedication to success in class, concern for others, and the respect she has shown by both adults and peers. It has been an honor to watch Abby grow and mature from a very shy young freshman into the self-confident, gifted young woman she is today. She is clearly a young lady with a bright future. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you Abby Lester. And now we're all caught up because we are able now to present to you the Auburn High School March Senior of the Month, Ethan McCrae Crockett. Ethan is here this evening with his mother and father, Mark and Connie Crockett, and his twin brother. So come on forward, all of you. Once again, you'll see all of his accomplishments on the profile that you have in your packet in front of you. But again, I want to read to you these kind words from the teachers at Auburn High School. Many teachers at Auburn High School regard Ethan as one of the finest young men they have ever taught and describe him as a breath of fresh air to have in class. He is always prepared and always thinking. He is an excellent writer and debater. He always goes the extra mile to understand all concepts, and he is willing to help others who struggle. Ethan not only excels academically, he is a talented athlete, serves in several key leadership roles, and is involved in community service. He also stands out for his maturity, work ethic, and politeness. He is respected by staff and peers alike, and he is a great role model to other students. As president of the Beta Club, Ethan is willing to do whatever is asked of him to better the club as they strive to complete community service activities throughout the school year. As SGA president, he is the voice of Auburn High School for morning opening exercises and announcements. Ethan is a credit to his family and to our community. We are all very proud to have him represent us. As he goes on to the world beyond Reiner, we are certain that he will excel at the next level and in life. Ladies and gentlemen, Ethan Crockett.
Good evening. Blacksburg High School is proud to introduce Mr. John Zhang as our Senior of the Month for March. John is accompanied this evening by Mom, Dan Ewell. Would you all please come forward and be recognized? John is a positive role model and well-rounded student athlete for the Bruin family. He's been a member of the varsity basketball team for the past 3 years and is the vice president of the National Honor Society, a representative for the SCA, and the president of the senior class. Not to mention, John recently found out that he's been accepted into Virginia Tech's engineering program early. His dedication to be the best he can be in academics and extracurricular activities carry over into all phases of his life. He strives for excellence and can always be counted on to give 100% in everything that he does. John Zhang is truly a joy to have on the Bruin team, and we're proud to present him to you as our March Senior of the Month.
Members of the board, it is my privilege to introduce the Christiansburg High School February Student of the Month, Jayla Ebony Norman, and she is accompanied tonight by her mom, Joyce Bell. If I could have both of them come up to the podium to be recognized. Jayla was selected as the Christiansburg High School's Senior of the Month for February because of her work ethic, leadership skills, and spirit of service. Last summer, out of the tens of thousands of high school athletes, Jayla was selected by the Virginia High School League as the only female ambassador to represent the state at the National Federation of High Schools Leadership Summit in Indianapolis, Indiana. While her grades are consistently above average, the content has not always come easily to her. Jayla epitomizes perseverance in her academic endeavors by taking the initiative to find tutors and put in extra time after school to make the grades in her challenging classes. Her actions, both in and out of the classroom, reflect the high standards of ethical values that she holds for herself, and I am proud to introduce her to you as our Senior of the Month. And now it's my pleasure to introduce you to our March Senior of the Month, Nicholas Wagner Carroll, who is here tonight with his mom, Jennifer Carroll, and his dad, Sean Carroll. Could I ask you guys to come to the podium to be recognized? Nick was selected to represent Christiansburg High School as the March Senior of the Month because of his great attitude, charming personality, keen sense of humor, and extreme dedication to his school and community. Whether it be a CHS cheering section, a musical performance, a school advisory committee, or a championship baseball team, we can always find Nick front and center, representing our school with class and a smile. It's difficult to think of the class of 2016 without remembering all of the contributions made by Nick Carroll. We are very proud of him and happy to present him as our newest Senior of the Month.
Dr. Graham, Dr. Myers, Ms. Karan, members of the board, it's my privilege tonight to introduce to you Eastern Montgomery High School's February Senior of the Month, Lorenzo Delap Hernandez. He is accompanied tonight by his father, Lupe Hernandez, and his girlfriend, Sierra Pennington. If they would come forward, please. EMHS DE government teacher Elena McKee had this to say about our Senior of the Month. It has been my pleasure to have Lorenzo in my dual enrollment government class. Throughout the class, Lorenzo showed himself to be an extremely poised and intelligent student who excels on his own as well as within a group. He is always pushing himself to look at issues and subject matter more deeply. He is articulate and able to voice his opinions in a clear and persuasive manner. In addition, Lorenzo is always excited to present his work or collaborate on group projects that require him to think outside of the box. He is a well-rounded student who has a knack for being able to connect classroom content to big ideas and social issues. All of these traits will serve him well in his college career. Congratulations, Lorenzo. It's also my privilege to introduce our March Senior of the Month, Scarlett Jewel Sisson. She's accompanied tonight by her mother, Margaret Sisson, and her brother and sister-in-law, Chris and Leslie Sisson. If they would come forward, please. I forgot to mention Chris and Leslie are Eastmont graduates as well. EMHS Health and Physical Education teacher Sarah Morris had this to say about Scarlett. I am not sure that I know of a student more deserving of this recognition than Scarlett Sisson. She may be one of the hardest working students at Eastern Montgomery. She works hard academically, athletically, and at her home on her family's farm. I've worked with Scarlett as a teacher and as a coach, and I couldn't ask for more in the classroom or on the court. Scarlett is a coach's dream as a player, and I'm a better coach for having her on my team and a better person for having her in my life. She led our team by her work ethic, giving direction, modeling, and supporting other players. Scarlett is also an outstanding athlete in basketball and softball, and I believe she could excel at any sport or task that is presented to her. She is the one player that you never want to take off the court, but more than that, she is an amazing, well-rounded young woman who is beautiful, kind, compassionate, and gracious. Congratulations, Scarlett.
At this time, Ms. Weaver will also introduce our next awards, which are the state championships from the fall.
Good evening again. We have 2 fall state championships for you, and I told the student athletes that they continue to return so often, we're going to have to permanently reserve them some rows. They're both repeat teams for us. Tonight we have athletic directors from Auburn High School and Blacksburg High School. We'll start with Auburn. Mr. Paul Dominy is here to introduce the coach and the team to you.
I've watched C-SPAN enough to be quite certain that I heard those who have already gone cede the remainder of their time to me. I promise to responsibly and fully use it. In all seriousness, I'm pleased to present both a team and an individual state champion to you tonight. The Auburn boys cross country team entered the state championship this year the favorite, despite the fact that they had never won one before. At the mile mark, that didn't look terribly promising, being 22 points back and in third place. At the 2-mile mark, they had moved up to second and cut 10 points off that lead. But they were saving it all for the 3rd mile, where they were able to produce a 20-point turnaround, which in cross country is quite a thing to do in the last mile of the race. They went from being 12 points down to winning by 8. To produce Auburn's first ever boys cross country state championship and Auburn's 6th state championship in any sport in the last 2.5 years. Head coach Laura Daniels is ill tonight, but let me introduce you to the members of the team who are here. Branson Weeks, Tanner Dehart, Lucas Matthews, Hunter Cotter, Jacob Thompson, Peyton Hurd, Tyler Wilson, Nolan Harris, Caleb Hallinan, and Trevor Dominy.
We're going to give the certificates to Mr. Downs. But I need you guys to make it you and do 2 layers. Talk what's in the back. You guys. You're in it, sweetie. Sorry.
Oh,
there we go.
yes,
1, 2. Everybody hear me? 1, 2, 3. And can my frozen faces smile and just pretend, please? 1, 2. Thank you.
I also have an individual state champion to introduce to you. Trevor Dominy was the boys 1A cross-country individual state champion this year. There has been a bit of controversy involved. The VHSL insists that he is Auburn's 2nd individual state champion in boys cross-country, while the man the VHSL says won it before insists that Trevor is the 1st. That happened back in 1975, and we are still trying to get to the bottom of it. Either way, Trevor fulfilled a goal that he set in the 7th grade to one day cross the line first in the state championship in cross country, met that this year.
And next, Mr. Pete Lyle from Blacksburg High School will introduce his coaching team to you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Dr. Meyer, members of the board, thanks for this opportunity to recognize our team. As you know, Coach DeMarco coached this program, and he's since relocated at the end of the season. He relocated to the Milwaukee area. And I spoke with him earlier this afternoon. He has since landed a coaching job up there at Homestead High School in Mequon, Milwaukee, which is just north of Milwaukee, a suburb north of Milwaukee. And I asked him about his duties. He's coaching girls track and girls cross country. He hopes to merge the two programs together up there. I asked him about their success. He goes, this team they have a lot of potential for success up here, but they just don't know it yet. And he reflected on his model of success down here with our girls. He said, you just got to believe in yourselves and be willing to put in the hard work. And that's what he did down here for us. He brought in our girls, this program. These girls are part of a bigger picture. I just want to highlight some of these program successes. 16 state championships in women's cross country. Excuse me. 5 consecutive years in a row. 5 runner-ups. These girls, particular girls that you'll meet in a moment, they flew out to Oregon and they finished 12th in the nation, which was also first in the southeast region of the United States, which encompasses Florida all the way to Delaware. It's quite a region to finish first in. Coach DeMarco was named National Coach of the Year in the state of Virginia for the 2nd year in a row. That's the award was just implemented 2 years ago. So we have so much to be proud of with these girls. They represent the high school, they represent Coach DeMarco's legacy, and we're sorry he can't be here tonight, but we are fortunate enough to have his assistant coach at the time, Coach Brandon Bear. Ladies, come on up. Coach Bear.
Well, I don't have a lot more to say than all those accomplishments. These girls have worked tremendously hard to be one of the best programs in the history of Virginia, and I foresee many years of that to continue. Let me introduce to you the team real quick, and I'll give you a few more stats for them. We have Olivia Hodge, who is a senior. She finished 11th in the state championships in cross country. Simone Gannett was 9th in the state. As a sophomore. Eileen Edwards is a freshman. She finished 8th. Michaela Richardson is not here tonight, but she is a senior. She finished 7th. Annie K. Combs is a junior, finished 4th. Samantha Marin is a junior, finishing 3rd. And we have Sophia Link as a freshman winning the state title. So I think we have a long way to go in terms of many more championships to build up. A tremendously young team. Just 2 seniors will be going. Olivia will be traveling to Oregon for college, I believe. And Michaela Richardson has committed to Virginia Tech to compete with their team. We are looking forward to the future for them. Hopefully many more state champion titles out of Sophia. On top of the team winning the state and having 5 consecutive wins, we also finished with 23 points across the team, which ties the record, also held by us, from 2014 and one other team that I didn't want to look at. But we have tied the record now twice, and this team is a part of a growing legacy. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to the Blacksburg High School cross-country team.
This time, Dr. Meyer will introduce our last honors, which it is School Board Appreciation Month. Dr. Meyer.
real sure which way to turn here, so I'm going to first turn this way. I'd first like to say congratulations to Seniors of the Month. You know, it's really, what's so neat about it, I'm getting to know some of you guys. I actually have met you in your schools, and I really have enjoyed meeting you, and what a great group of students we have, and just so proud of you. And for state champions, that's incredible what you guys are doing. It's so hard to win a state championship. And I'll share with you, a friend of mine shared with me the results of the 1986 cross-country state championships not too long ago, because I ran in that. And guess who won the state championship that year in boys? Blacksburg. Yeah. I was like, man, we got beat by Blacksburg. How about that? And so that was a lot of fun. I'd like to recognize our school board. The month of February is recognized by the Virginia School Board Association as School Board Appreciation Month. Due to inclement weather at the last meeting, we're recognizing our members tonight. This year's theme is turning vision into results, and reflects that your top priority is to advocate. I'm going to talk to you now. Is to advocate for public education at local, state, and national level events, to turn your vision for our education system into a reality. We would like to take this time to honor each one of you for your dedication. I'd like to call the board members up in the order of the certificates. But first, let me say, we really appreciate what these folks do. They volunteer to help us out, and they work so many hours for our school division and for all of you students out here. And we really appreciate everything that all of you do, and the time that you spend to help our community move forward in terms of education. And I really enjoy working with all of you, and let's recognize you one at a time here. First of all, would Miss Jamie Bond come forward?
These always first.
And we do have some gifts for them. We had a coffee cup and elementary school actually made some crafts for them as well. Very nice little bowls.
Did I hear you say 1986 wasn't too long ago? Is that what you said?
No, I did not say that.
Oh,
That's a long time ago. I did say that, didn't I? That is really, it's a long time ago. You're right. Next, Mark Chewbacca. Miss Penny Franklin. I should have said just Miss Franklin, because she just can't stand it when I say just Miss Franklin. They're here 17 years. 17 years of doing this is incredible. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Miss Connie Froggatt. Miss Marty Graham. Mr. Joey Lyons. And Ms. Guna Karan.
At this time, we will take a 10-minute break so that board members may congratulate those who received honors tonight, and so that the audience may share their thanks with our board members too. Too often they don't get appreciation, and tonight's a great time to tell them how much we appreciate them as well. 10-minute break.
At each of our regularly scheduled meetings, the school board sets aside up to 30 minutes for citizens to address the board about issues pertaining public education in Montgomery County. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes to speak. The screens throughout the room and on the laptop will indicate when the speaker has 30 seconds remaining and when the 3 minutes has passed. I do not have any individual sign up for public address. At this time, I will ask the audience, anybody would like to address the board? Seeing none, public address is closed. Next item on the agenda is consent items. If there is nothing to be pulled from the agenda, then we will consider the consent items approved. Is there any discussion regarding the consent agenda, board members? Hearing none, consent agenda is approved. Next item agenda is personnel reports. May I have a motion to adopt the personnel report?
So moved.
Mr. Lyons moved.
Second?
Ms. Graham seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda, payment of the bills. May I have a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Mr. Lyons moved.
Second.
Mr. Baca second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We pay the bills. Next item on the agenda, superintendent's reports, recommendations, and announcements. Dr. Meyer.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Coran. Had a good couple of weeks here. Met with several folks. I had the pleasure of meeting with Barry Helms, town manager in Christiansburg. Met with our board supervisor, Chair Chris Tuck. I had an opportunity to meet with the Blacksburg Middle School faculty for a meeting, and that went just excellent. I attended the What's on Stage art gallery reception, the Harding Elementary students, and that was just absolutely wonderful. The kids had just beautiful artwork, and they were so proud of what they had accomplished, and it was just it's just an amazing program, and so just really enjoyed that. Of course, we had the feasibility meeting the other night for the Christiansburg projects, and just thank everyone for being there and being a part of that. And we had a lot of folks attending, and I appreciate the public, the teachers, the parents who came to that. Also, speaking of sports, I had the opportunity to go to Auburn High School on Friday afternoon. They had 3 students who signed their letters of intent to play football in college. And one was Bluefield, another is going to Ferrum, and then one student signed with Marshall University. So just real proud of those young men. And then Saturday, I took the family to Ag Day at Blacksburg High School, and they had fun with the chickens and the mules and let's see what else, other animals.
Rabbits.
They had rabbits, they had turtles, they had. My kids called them camels, but they were alpacas. That's right. And so great educational experience for them, and it was just a great community occasion. So just really enjoyed that. Just want to update you guys on that. Next, a budget update. Just reminding you that our budget calendar and the Board of Supervisors budget calendar are on the board docs. March 7th will be when our county administrator presents this budget. March 7th and 21st would be our opportunity to express the importance of our spending priorities to the Board of Supervisors as they establish an advertised tax rate. Okay, so I hope you folks will continue to consider attending those meetings for that. So that's all I have, Ms. Coran.
Thank you, Dr. Meyer. On that budget meeting update regarding the Board of Supervisors, unfortunately, neither Ms. Fraga nor myself will be in town that day, but I'm hoping the other board members, if their time allow, we will be able to be there to support you.
We're talking about March 7th?
March 7th.
I've already had, I will be there.
And I think Ms. Graham was planning to. That's great.
I'll be out of town, unfortunately, as well.
That's a spring break.
Yeah.
And could I mention something too? One more thing, I apologize,
Sure.
is, and I'm not sure if you were going to bring it up or not, Mr. Coran, but we had our county liaison meeting last week, And one thing that we realized was that the opportunity we're going to have to talk about the budget as a school board will be at the work session on March 15th. Well, we had already put several other things that were going to happen that night. And so what we're going to do, we're going to move the rotation through the departments to the April meeting instead of doing it at the next meeting. So we'll start at 7 o'clock and we'll have that agenda, but part of that agenda will be actually looking at the budget based on what Mr. Meadows has proposed, and have a conversation about that, if that's okay with you folks. Okay?
Yeah, I was going to bring it up at the upcoming school board meetings, but
Okay.
that's okay. That's
Okay.
taken care of now. Next on the agenda is unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business, board members? Seeing none, we'll look into the new business. Any new business?
Yes, I have new business, but unfortunately it's old business too. I recently was made aware that Virginia is leading the nation in the prison to pipeline issue. So I would like to see what we look like in Montgomery County, what our referrals look like, what our discipline looks like, broken down into gender and race, to make sure that we're not contributing to that.
What was it, did you say?
Prison to pipeline.
Prison to pipeline.
It can start with referrals in school, and before you know it, a child is in prison. They call it a pipeline.
And also the reading level in grade 3. Some studies ties it if the student cannot read, grade level 3.
There's a lot to do with race with that issue too, and how especially African American young men and Latino young men are referred to the office. I dealt with it myself.
We'll be on the look into.
Absolutely, we'll be glad to look into that. And we're planning on anyway looking at all parts of our discipline, and that can be one that that we add to that is looking into that and how that looks, and just sort of taking a fresh look at how we deal with discipline matters as a whole in our school division. And I know there's some things that are already being done proactively, but we'll definitely make that part of a meeting in talking about school discipline and what that looks like.
Mark, can we add, as part of that discussion too, the SROs as well, as part of that?
Anything particularly about SROs?
It's kind of related to what Ms. Franklin's brought up, that I've seen some articles lately, and I've had some constituents who have written to me with a concern about some research showing that just having SROs in the building, depending, I guess, on how they handle discipline issues, can also contribute to that kind of a thing too. So just as part of our review of discipline matters, it would just be interesting for me anyway, to learn more about how our SROs are involved in that process and make sure that we're not, that there isn't that it's not contributing to that problem.
Right. Something else I can share with you too. We have a memorandum of understanding that a new one I just signed with, it was with Blacksburg this time, I think. But anyway, we do have, MOUs in regards to that.
Okay.
And it might even be worthwhile to bring, some of our officers in and talk to you about what they do and
I talked
how
with,
important their job is.
I talked with a few of the chiefs, I think, at the Dialogue on Race event too, about some of this stuff. So there was some healthy dialogue. I mean, I don't have reason to believe that we're necessarily doing anything wrong, but it's just, it would be good to be part of that discussion, I think.
Sure. Absolutely.
Any other new business, board members? If not, we'll go to announcements and information. Board members who have anything like to share?
I would like to share something. I can't tell you how many parents have stopped me in the grocery store, at the schools, and they're like, we absolutely love Miss Drake's announcements.
Yes, that's right.
They are like, that just makes our whole day. Like, sometimes they'll play it over
Oh, my.
because they enjoy it so much. So
That's great.
you have made the connection between central office and those parents, not a robotic thing. You've made it a warm and inviting and welcoming message. And thank you.
And I have to confess, just to add to that, it has been a while, I think 3 years. Of course, I don't have any student in the system, so I wasn't getting those messages, but I signed back up. So I will just hear Ms. Drake's voice, and I've been enjoying.
I'm going to try to encourage you to start singing some of the...
But I also want to follow that up, that our students are loving that they are knowing information before their parents because Dr. Meyer is tweeting it out first. So they think they have one up on their parents. So it's just exciting to hear everyone so excited about even getting announcements. So thank you, Ms. Drake.
Typically what I do is I see which message I'm going to get first, because I get a phone message, a text, an email from John, and I just see which one I'm going to get first.
And then the funny
And usually you win.
And then the funny thing is, I would think, okay, I'm one up on Abby, and I'll text her real quick and say, okay, school's 2 hours later closed, and she went, I already know, Mom. And I went, that's okay.
That's funny.
I wanted to just let you guys know, I attended the Southwest Virginia Governor's School Board meeting on February 17th, and I think one of the couple things that came out of it, there's obviously a lot going on, so at some point, since I'm the liaison between our board and that board, I just want to kind of get plugged in with our staff to make sure that the opportunities and events and camps and things that they're doing are being, well advertised here in our school system. And then secondly, there was kind of a significant thing going on with the budget for the governor's school. There was a delegate, I think, from the Richmond area that introduced an amendment to Governor McAuliffe's appropriations bill, and the long and the short of it is that they were basically trying to remove the additional funding that the academic year governor's schools were going to receive. And so I've been working with Rebecca Phillips, the director there at the governor's school, to lobby our representatives and other representatives across the state that are in the committees to keep the Senate version of the bill that keeps that funding intact rather than remove it. So if any of you guys are interested in that too, I can certainly pass along the information.
I will piggyback on the governor's school subject. I think, last year I was the liaison for the board, and I've been thinking about that since then. Of course, we have a certain number of students attending from the Montgomery County, and I know they receive some recognition through the governor's school, the events that they participate and win certain awards, whether it's a science fair, and it could be national level too. I think I would like us to recognize them in front of our board too at one point. So that was one of my wish lists. So
yeah, that might be a good idea, because they did present some...
And not every time, our students, but there are many occasions that it could be from any strand. There will be students that will be nice to recognize them.
Yeah, I agree.
On another, go, Ms. Powell.
I just remembered there was something on new business that I wanted to, and my mind went totally blank, and it just came back to me. Can we back up just a smidge for me to ask that question?
We can back up for you.
And Dan, this is kind of you. Thank you. Does any of our schools have any speed bumps, like in the, I don't even know where, but I'm going to give you for an example. Today I was picking up Abby at Christiansburg, and right there behind the garage where I was sitting right there because I don't want to get in line, so I make her walk up there. And these just teenagers, and flying up through there. And I know it's supposed to be, creeping, but they're not. And I'm just wondering, would a speed bump or something like that? Because I know if it's there, it's got to be at all the high schools, you know. What?
We have
Sets?
a quarter-mile drag strip at Blacksburg High School.
Okay.
Giant parking lot.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I think that's the only space, but I'll go talk to Kevin and see what.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
It just came to
Thank
me.
you.
I mean, my mind went blank.
Thank you. Do you have any other announcements, board members?
I was just going to ask, what's the record at the quarter-mile drag strip?
I was going to say a high school parking lot at dismissal is one that is not a good place to be.
To speak.
Yeah, or just to be.
Oh, it was.
I'm going to go out and see if I can beat it. That's why I'm asking.
You have
Yes.
an announcement? Yes.
Yeah, I attended the VSBA Superintendent Evaluation Training, so we could hopefully properly evaluate Dr. Meyer, although if you attended last night, so far he's got glowing reviews. Hopefully, you know, but we'll go through the process properly, and because there have been some changes, and one part of it that a lot of people don't like, and I can understand why, is the student achievement part, and tying so much of evaluations, not only our superintendent, but a lot of our employees, to student achievement and test scores. And, you know, that's one thing that we have to address, but also I think we need to look at with a grain of salt, I guess is the best way to put it, because it's not all about test scores. And there are 6 other things that we evaluate our superintendent on that are just as important. And the other thing that I had the opportunity to do, the Montgomery County Educational Foundation had their first board meeting of 2016 in February because January got snowed out. And we welcomed Dr. Meyer to the board as our new superintendent. And we have a big announcement to make. On May 6th, we are going to be holding a new fundraising event. It will be held at Christiansburg High School. We are inviting, or hosting the Harlem Wizards to come and play a team of Montgomery County Public School educators, to be led by our very own Dr. Meyer. And also playing on the team will be our very own Joey Lyons. We hope to have a representative from every school in the district to play, as well as we are allowed to have up to 5 students, so we're asking our high schools to each.
Dr. Staten, he volunteered too.
Yep, that's
yes,
right.
he did.
Dr. Staten in
Just
there.
want to make sure.
So, so we're looking forward to contacting all the schools, getting their representatives signed up. I'm working on team jerseys. And we are looking forward to a great event. This is a wonderful family event. Tickets will go on sale March 21st, and we think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Make sure you pick a color I look good in.
Well,
Just make sure it's big enough for me.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the size of that color.
I won't go there. I'll just stop right there.
All right.
And that's it.
The piggyback on the, not the basketball part, but the VSBA superintendent evaluation.
You want to play?
I think that would be the last thing I probably could be able to do. Well, if it was tennis, maybe. The basketball wasn't my thing. In terms of the VSBA superintendent evaluation, I think I forwarded to the board members this afternoon sometime. There is another workshop in May 5th, I believe, if I remember right. And if any other board members are interested in attending or their time permits, you know, just sharing that information. And another announcement, I also attended Watson's stage reception, and it was a lot of memories came back because both my daughters did that, and it was fun to see all the artwork and excitement and the young people. And another thing I did is Love the Bus event at Christiansburg High School, and it was so cute to watch all the little people sitting on the high school auditorium and watching the skit regarding bus safety and you know, how to follow the rules. And I think the high school students did a fantastic job at it. At the end, they all share which elementary school they went. And then there were some participants from state of New York, state of California, state of Florida. So that was also, it could be even more than that, but it was a fun event. And thanks for Ms. Brown to bring that to my attention. That's all the announcement and information I can think of. Board members, are we all good? Then the next one is upcoming school board meetings, which we talked about March 15 change. We'll have budget update there instead of the board member orientation, and board member orientation will be on the April 19th. And if you guys don't have any other questions regarding the agenda and agenda preparation, I will adjourn the meeting. It's 8:40. Thank you.